Okay, so my screen is visible now. Just a minute.
अभी
Okay, so let us start. It's visible, right?
yeah.
Okay, fine. So yesterday we completed March. Okay, so March there were many judgments. So we'll move on to February now. Okay, so so this we stopped. Okay, call for justice, not hate speech. Okay, so we'll move on February. So we'll start. Visible, right? Okay, so we'll start. So violation of a fundamental right to speedy trial is not is a ground for constitutional court to grant bail in UAPA cases. Okay, so again I'll tell the violation of fundamental right to speedy trial. So this we know, right? Fundamental right to speedy trial is essential. So this is a ground for constitutional court to grant bail. So I think citing this, they've granted bail to some person, I guess. So I'll just know. I think this UAPA Act calls for revision multiple times. Already, question has
हाँ
come on in mains also. So you never know, it can come again. So I'll just read this. The bench comprising so and so held that section 443D slash 5. Okay, so I mean, make sure if a question comes, you can quote specific sections. Per se, does not oust the ability of constitutional court to grant bail on the ground of violation of speedy trial. Okay, fundamental right to speed. So he's telling fundamental right. So this is a fundamental right. Maybe in some judgment they would have told this is also a fundamental right, just like right to life or something. Right to speedy trial is also a fundamental right, maybe. Okay, so
ओके
whereas the commencement of proceedings, courts are expected to appreciate the legislative policy against the grant of bail, but the rigors of such provisions will melt down when there is no likelihood of trial being completed within a reasonable time, and the period of incarceration already undergone has exceeded the substantial part of prescribed sentence. This is the bane of Indian judicial system. So, just we must remember, right to speedy trial must court in such cases. Okay, so we'll move on. So they've granted bail. 2011 mein he was, I think, put inside. Now they're granting bail, I think, for to him. Okay, so
हम्म
see, such a long time. So we'll move on. Next is corruption is an offense against society. Okay, I think this judgment we can use always in corruption questions. Corruption is an offense against society. So SC sets aside a Gujarat High Court judgment acquitting an accused. Okay, so sets aside the Gujarat High Court judgment acquitting. Gujarat High Court has acquitted some accused, so it has set aside that judgment and it has made this observation. Okay, so I'll just read this. An appellate court, while dealing with an appeal against acquittal passed by the learned trial court, is required to bear in mind that in case of bear in mind that in case of acquittal, there is double presumption in favor of the accused. Yeah, because once he's acquitted, now they feel that yes, he's um, is not accused in a sense. So, firstly, the presumption of innocence is available to him under the fundamental principle of criminal jurisprudence. So this is how criminal jurisprudence works. So, we assume that he is innocent in the first place. So, this also applies to him. That every person shall be presumed to be innocent unless he is proven guilty by a competent court of law. Okay, this is one thing. Secondly, the accused having secured his acquittal, the presumption of his innocence is further reinforced. Yeah, since he's acquitted, na, so they'll feel that yes, he's more innocent. So reinforced, reaffirmed, and strengthened by the trial court. Yeah, this is correct. Therefore, while dealing with the cases of acquittal by trial court, the appellate court would have certain limitations. Yeah, so, just bear this in mind. Something that a reminder is telling. So, because corruption is an offense against the society, so this broad thing we can quote. This one line I think is sufficient to quote. Okay, we'll move on. So next is approach of Union of India exacerbates us. SC imposes 1 lakh cost on center for filing SLP with delay of 6,000. Okay, okay. So I mean, I think there's a long delay which has taken place. Okay, so approach of Union of India exacerbates as SC imposes 1 lakh cost on center for filing SLP with a delay of so many days. Okay, maybe some big background to this. Let us see the background. Approach of the Union of India in a manner it has filed the present specially petition exacerbates us. Okay, there's a remark while dismissing SLP petitions filed by center. So center का ही उसने the delay of so many days. All earlier counsel all earlier counsel appears to have been thrown in dustbin, said the bench. Okay, I mean nothing specific to remember, I guess here. Okay, just we can just recall revise SLP again. That's it. I feel from the exam perspective.
Supreme Court is getting angry on Center because they have filed SLP with a lot of delay, I guess.
Correct, right? So, I mean, we can just revise SLP. That's it. Okay, from the exam perspective. We'll move on. Just see this: consent of a family, community, or clan is not necessary once two adult individuals agree into wedlock. Okay, I think this judgment we can quote in all those, honor killing or whatever appears. No,
Yeah.
so remember this statement is good. Consent of family, community, or clan is not necessary once two adult individuals agree into deadlock. Okay, I think it's a very good frame statement. So a branch comprising so and so, same thing. In this case, a father or a girl lodged, okay, in this case what happened was a father of a girl, he lodged missing person's complaint, okay, after she eloped and married a person. Okay, the father uses tactics, no, to file a complaint without informing him, even after knowing about their whereabouts. Oh, he was aware that marriage had taken place, and the factum of marriage, the investigation officer insisted that no. Even after knowing about their whereabouts and the factum of marriage, the investigating officer insisted that girl should appear at the police station to record her statement, so that the case can be closed. Okay, the investigating officer must be sent for counseling as to how to manage such cases. Okay, this is how the Supreme Court has told. It has also commented on the investigating officers. Thing. Okay, so I mean this is a generally agreed principle now that if consent is there between two adults, then this consent of family, community, or clan is not. They purposefully, I think, use the word clan to hit at all these car panchayats, all these things, right?
Previous year question, right to marry, Article 21.
Exactly, right. Okay, so we'll move on. Next, this I think is also important because it's involving fundamental right. So, right to protest cannot be anytime and anywhere. Oh, it cannot be anytime and anywhere. Just remember this. Okay? SC dismisses review petition against Shaheen Bagh judgment. Oh yeah, last year that Shaheen Bagh judgment was passed. So they've dismissed the review petition and they've made the statement that it cannot be anytime, anywhere. Yeah, you cannot protest. I mean, they've told now at some places you can protest in that sense, right? So yeah, you can read this. I think this quoted line.
We have considered the earlier judicial pronouncement and recorded our opinion that the constitutional scenario comes via right to protest and express dissent, but when obligation to have certain duties. The right to protest cannot be anytime, anywhere. There may be some spontaneous protest, but in case of prolonged dissent or protest, there cannot be continuing occupation of public place affecting rights and of others. I guess Article 19(1)(e).
Correct. I think Shaheen Bagh they were protesting at some place now for a very long time. It was affecting public. So it
Huh.
cannot happen. Such protests cannot happen for a long time because public also fundamental right, all those things will be affected. I think this we can remember. Protest can happen, yes, peacefully it can happen, good, but it cannot happen anytime and everywhere. Okay, so this line of thought we can remember. Shaheen Bagh, they're trying to reiterate the position. So we'll move on. So next is no, not proper to keep him in jail forever. Okay, I see reduces the sentence imposed on dacoity come murder convict to 22 years imprisonment. Okay. Hmm.
On what ground they have done this?
Okay, so let me read this. A bench comprising so and so reduced the sentence imposed on a man convicted in dacoity come murder to 22. So they've reduced, okay, to 22 years. So if you see Shivlinga was the convicted, that person under section this 396 and 307 of IPC, and sentenced to, okay, he was sentenced to death penalty. Okay, so he was sentenced to death penalty. The Karnataka High Court partly allowed appeal, converted the death sentence to, okay, they've converted the death sentence to imprisonment for life. Okay, so now what has happened? Other accused, the Shivlinga and other accused were accused of attacking the driver and cleaner of lorry, which resulted in cleaner's death. I think it's a very specific case now. So where they are High Court had done it to imprisonment. Supreme Court has again reduced it to 22 years. Maybe a specific observation in this case that 22 years is sufficient, not life kind of thing. Okay, I think not much important for the exam. So let's delete this. We'll move on. Selection to public employment should be on the basis of merit. Okay, Supreme Court. So, I mean, again, employment should be on basis of merit, they're telling. Okay, so we'll just read this. A bench comprising Justice L. Nageshwar Rao and Indira Banerjee observed that selection to public employment should be on the basis of merit. Okay, so if you see the observation, appointment of persons with lesser merit, ignoring those who have secured more marks, would be in violation of Article 14 and 16 of the Constitution. Okay, at this point we can remember. So, no person with lesser merit, if you appoint them, even though even though they have secured more marks, would be in violation of Article 14 and 16. Okay, so 14 and 16 violation will happen in this case. You can remember because if they give option, na, if merit is ignored, then 14 and 16 will be involved. Okay, uh, uh,
Okay.
then if you see in this case, appointees to the post of police sub inspector. Okay, this is the post where the case is ongoing, and Jharkhand were terminated. They were terminated. Okay, on the ground that select list was prepared wrongly, ignoring merit of candidates and giving undue importance to the preferences given by them. Okay, allowing the writ petition filed by these appointees who were terminated, the Jharkhand High Court observed that they cannot be held responsible for the irregularities committed by the authorities in the manner of the selection, and there is no allegation of fraud. Okay, take fine. If you see now, the merit should stand. That is what they're trying to tell, and it is 14 and 16. We must revise. Okay, so nothing much about this. We'll move on. See, SC upholds life imprisonment for a man accused of murdering his pregnant wife. Okay. I mean, nothing specific, I believe. This is general courts of law, right? So, not nothing much to read here, I guess. Okay. We'll move on. So, no extra chance for UPSC exams. SC dismisses plea of last. This was the news, na? So, that COVID thing. SC dismisses plea of last attempt. No civil servants. So, this is, I think, we all know this. Nothing much here. Very specific case. I don't think they'll ask. So, they've taken exercise their plenary powers under Article 142. Okay, again, which they are using very often now. So this was about February. Okay, we'll move on to March. I think I mean January. We can finish January, I guess, today. So yeah. So if you see, SC upholds Centre's plan for Central Vista project by two-stone majority. Okay, so I mean many people were telling in the times of COVID, why are you constructing this big project? So SC has upheld this. Okay, so again it is part of executive's power. If you see, we cannot be called upon to govern, for we have no wherewithal or prowess and expertise in this regard. Okay, they're not willing to enter the executive domain. That's about this. Nothing much. In this we'll move on. I don't think this is important for exam also. Okay, next,
Hmm.
absolute devotion. I think this might be important. Absolute devotion, integrity and honesty is a sine qua non for every bank employee. Okay, I think this we can quote if any, in ethics, I think this can be useful.
A lot of bank scams, no?
Correct,
PNB scam
correct,
and all. Huh?
correct. See, they're using three values here: absolute devotion, okay, integrity, and honesty. Okay, it's a sine qua non they're telling for every bank employee. Okay, if you see here, I'll read the quoted one. It requires the employee to maintain good conduct. Good conduct is their code of conduct. We already read discipline, and he deals with money. Okay, because he's dealing with money of the depositors. Yeah, and the and customers, and if it is not observed, the confidence of the public depositors would be impaired. That's what is happening. It is not, it is for this additional reason. Okay, it is for this reason we are of the opinion that High Court has committed an apparent error in setting aside order of the dismissal of respondent. Okay, some specific thing, but broadly the same thing. Okay, absolute devotion, integrity, and honesty is a sine qua non for a banking. And the reason they've given is this. Okay, because he deals with the money of the depositor. Again, it is a kind of similar argument with the government also, where they deal with money of the taxpayer. So they must respect that. They must act as a trustee kind of thing. Okay, we can use all Gandhi's trusteeship concept, all those things. Okay, so we'll move on. Next is High Court's power. Again, this comes again. High Court's power under Article 226/227 to interfere with arbitration process needs to be exercised in exceptional rarity. Same thing, now. I think this is the same line of thought we read.
Yeah, same, same.
If there's arbitration, they must not use this writ power. Okay, I'll just read the quote one. If the courts are allowed to interfere with the arbitral process beyond the ambit of the enactment, then efficiency of the process will be diminished. Correct. Arbitration requires its own process, its own time, so that they will hamper by interfering with this. Okay. So if you see, they've made a comment on this act also. Okay. Try to revise the act again. The Arbitration Act itself gives various procedures and forums to challenge the appointment of an arbitrator. The framework clearly portrays an intention to address most of the issues within the ambit of the Act itself, without there being a scope for any extra statutory mechanism to provide such just and fair solutions. So I think just try to revise the Act again. Okay, it might come up in mains or even in prelims. So this Arbitration Act is important. Okay, we'll move on. So next, if you see, a constitutional challenge can be addressed before High Court. Okay, this you can remember now. Now this is very important because constitutional challenge that I tell. Constitutional challenge can be addressed before High Court. SC dismisses plea challenging provisions of GST Act. See, normally what
Hmm.
happens now, we have the general mindset that constitutional challenges, only Supreme Court should take something like that. Okay, here if you see, it can be addressed by the before the High Court also. Okay, if a statement comes up that only Supreme Court or High Court cannot do, I think we must eliminate it. Okay, so just see here, bench comprising Chandrachud. Okay, so and so, you can read this. Okay, you can read this.
How you do it because you do it quickly, no? So
Ha.
that you can cover the whole. Huh.
Yeah, okay, fine. A bench comprising of Justice Chandrachud so and so declined to entertain a writ petition. Okay, challenging the so they have declined to entertain a writ petition challenging the constitutional validity of. Okay, so they were challenging this constitutional validity of this GST Act. Okay, to directly Supreme Court. So they are telling that we are of the view that it would be appropriate to relegate the petitioner to the remedy of petition under now it's saying go to 226. Okay, so that this court has the benefit of considered view of jurisdiction High Court. So again, it's telling that you can go there also. Then you can come here. Okay, in that sense.
Widen the jurisdiction of
Ha.
226. Supreme Court itself widened it.
Correct, correct. So if you see, the petitioners have an efficacious remedy in the form of proceedings under 226. Okay, I think sometimes here, sometimes there. Okay, 226 of the Constitution to challenge the constitutional validity of the provision. Now, this I think this was the previous question. If you remember, a central law cannot be challenged in High Court. Something was mentioned. Okay, in prelims. I think in the last 1 or 2 years, this statement was there in UPSC's prelims paper. Constitutional validity of central law cannot be challenged in High Court. Something statement was cooked up by UPSC, and that was wrong.
Okay.
Okay, just try to look up polity papers. I think of past 1 or 2 years, you'll find this
Yeah.
statement. Okay, so constitutional validity can be challenged. The same thing is coming up here.
Okay. So constitutional validity of any central law can even be challenged to High Court.
Correct. Okay, this has already
Okay.
been, already been asked. Okay, we'll move on. Entirely illegal construction. Okay, entirely illegal construction. SC directs demolition of a hotel cum restaurant built in forest land in Himachal Pradesh. Okay, I think very specific. Okay, so no, they're asking for demolition because it is illegal. So let us see which legal provisions are there. In this case, NGT. Okay, NGT has come up. Okay, so NGT had found that the bus stand complex, okay, bus stand complex, uh, seriously disturbs the ecology of the area in which it has been constructed, and also violates the provisions of the Forest Conservation Act. Okay, so just try to look up the Forest Conservation Act also once. Okay, NGT, I think we've already revised once. Just try to revise it again. It directed the authority to pay a compensation of 15 lakhs in terms of these sections of NGT. Okay, try to, if possible, post the sections of these. We'll revise it. And a compensation of 10 lakhs. The state of Himachal Pradesh and its Department of Tourism was directed to pay a compensation of rupees 5 lakhs each. The tribunal had also ordered an inquiry to be conducted against the officers of the authority. So this was the NGT's order, which NGT. I think if you remember now, we while revising NGT, we discussed NGT has jurisdiction over some laws, right? And this was also one of the law.
Yes.
Forest
Hmm.
Conservation Act also was one of the
Hmm.
laws under which NGT has its ambit. So it has used its power, and it has awarded for compensation, which it can do. Okay, so this is the background. If you see this, the bench comprising so and so dismissed an appeal. They had filed an appeal, okay, against the NGT order directing the demolition of this so and so in McLeodganj in Himachal Pradesh. The bench discussed the concept of environmental rule of law, okay, concept of environmental rule of law, and also the role of courts in ensuring environmental protection. Okay, so just now try to look up. I think there was one question in UPSC mains long back about evolution of green benches in judiciary, something. Okay, just this link, it is hinting to that. The court said that environmental rule of law at a certain level is a facet of the concept of rule of law. Okay, that's making some very good observations. Environmental rule of law at a certain level is a facet of the concept of rule of law. Okay.
First time I'm reading this term, environmental rule of law.
Huh. I think there was recently one report also, environment rule of law something. Okay, by I'm not sure. Just look up this also, environment rule of law, and if possible, try to prepare for mains. Okay, role of courts in ensuring environmental protection. I think Vision had covered this, if I remember. In some month they had covered this. Okay, uh, when this cracker issue and the BS6, so in these environmental related issues now, stubble burning, in all these issues, when Supreme Court intervened, Vision had covered it up holistically, and they covered the role of Supreme Court in protecting environment something. Okay, I think this is the same dimension, role of courts in ensuring environmental protection. Okay, so I think we must also look up if there's any concept of environmental rule of law and some sub components of it. Okay, so we'll revise this later. So just remember that it is also a facet of rule of law in general, which we read of Dicey. Okay, so important things is, I think in this Forest Conservation Act a bit revision, NGT again revision. Okay, these things will move on. Farm laws implementation stayed. Okay. Committee formed for talks. MSP to continue. Okay. I think this is the same thing. We know that no. Farm laws were stayed, and this is January. Okay. Jan 12. So farm laws were stayed. Committee formed to look up for talks, and MSP will continue. So I think nothing much here. Just read quickly. Okay. Implementation of three farm laws are stayed. MSP system as it existed before will continue. No farmer must be dispossessed of his title as a result of any action taken. Actually, this provision is there in the law itself. A farmer cannot lose his land as such. Okay. A committee comprising Bhupender Singh, Pramod Kumar Joshi, Ashok Gulati, so and so persons constituted for the purpose of listening to the grievances of farmers related to farm laws. Okay, to make it. So this is the committee. Okay, I don't think we must remember the members also. The committee shall be provided a place in Delhi, okay, and government to bear its expenses and giving it secretarial assistance. No, they've given this also. The representatives of all farm bodies, whether they are holding a protest or not, and whether they support or oppose the laws, shall participate. Okay, I think this is the same thing. No? A committee, they'll get all the members. The committee should file the report within 2 months. Okay, it's already been 2 months. I don't know whether it's done or not. It was in January. Okay. Mm, okay, we'll move on. SC directs reopening of. I think for this, just revise the farm laws again. Okay, farm laws, all the three laws revision. That's it. I feel. Okay. We'll move on. SC directs reopening of Anganwadi centers outside CZ. What is CZ? Okay, containment zones. Okay, COVID directs to ensure nutritional support to pregnant women, lactating mothers, and children. I think this was a very dynamic situation because of COVID. Okay, all were closed, and concerns were raised about how they will get all these entitlements. Okay, so just try to revise this. NFS Act becomes important. Okay, I'll just read this once. A three-judge bench comprising so and so directed that to reopen Anganwadi centers situated outside the containment zones which were closed due to the pandemic. Okay, to provide nutritional support to children, pregnant women, and lactating mothers in accordance with the statutory requirements of NFSA. So try to revise the NFSA, and in specific, see whether what are these statutory requirements. No, they're entitled to some amount of grains or something. Okay, so that we must revise here. The court, however, directed that the decision of not opening the Anganwadi centers can only be taken after proper consultation with the SDMA, because it's COVID, no notified disaster in any area outside the containment zone. Okay, the court clarified that no Anganwadi centers situated inside the contain. Okay, fine, because of COVID. The court also directed the respondents to create a complaint redress. Okay, fine, this is all fine. Okay, I think for us we must revise the NFSA. That's all. Okay, I think so.
NFSA.
Hmm. Okay. NFSA specific to those provisions which provide for all these. grains or those things. Okay, because I think it has already asked one question. I think last year, so many calories of goes to that asked in prelims. Okay, I think last year or this year. I think last year, so many calories of goes to women. Something was asked. Okay, I'm not able to recall. Just look up the question. Okay, NF is important. So next is writ jurisdiction cannot be used by litigant only to take chance. Okay, I think you can skip this. Okay, no, they're using the writ jurisdiction, you know, exponentially, so we can keep that. Okay. Next is SC takes suo moto action on remediation of polluted rivers. Okay, this is important. Okay, because multiple concepts here, I think have come. Okay, if you see here, Yamuna polluted rivers is coming and Yamuna is coming. Okay, try to revise Yamuna river once again, tributaries, all those things. So a bench comprising Chief Justice of India, so and so, has taken suo moto cognizance, okay, on the issue of remediation. I think bioremediation was already a previous question, okay, in environment. So try to revise all the remediation techniques. Okay, observe that one of the major causes of water pollution was the discharge of non-treated and partially treated municipal waste and effluents of various cities. I think this is the standard reason for why rivers get polluted. uh, I think Vision also, no, in 1 month, I remember that covered river pollution as a main theme. Okay, I mean that might become important for revision. So, suo to action, so and so, that Haryana government for seizing discharge of untreated effluents resulted in rising ammonia levels. Okay, just remember all these, key things like they might ask, ammonia levels in river water. According to the petitioner, intervention is essential to avert humanitarian crisis of NCT Delhi, or citizens of NCT Delhi. Okay, because Yamuna is located on this only. So I think from the exam perspective, Yamuna we must revise thoroughly. More tributaries, all those things across cities wherever it's going, and then river pollution as an issue. How to solve the river pollution issue? Remediation techniques. So this we must revise. Okay, so I'll move on. How much is there? Oh my God, I think so more are there. Well, quickly, the prescription of higher education qualification as a qualification for promotion is not unconstitutional. Okay. Wait. Prescription of higher educational qualification, okay, as a qualification for promotion is not unconstitutional. So they can prescribe a higher education qualification for promotion. Okay, such a thing is not
Sounds good.
unconstitutional
Yeah. For
because
higher post, they may prescribe some extra additional qualification.
correct. So that is not unconstitutional. Okay. So a bench comprising so and so held that a prescription of higher education qualification as a qualification for promotion cannot be held as violative of. So okay, these two articles are again coming up. Okay, 14 and 16. So even if they give such a qualification, it is not violative of such a thing. Okay, it observes that while setting aside these things, one of the reasons for quashing given by the High Court was that all persons working as senior assistants constitutes they thought it's a homogeneous group, okay, and hence there cannot be a differentiation on the basis of education qualification. The bench referred, okay, they referred to some judgment, okay, the bench referred to a 1968, okay, constitution bench judgment, state of Mysore and ANR versus this judgment, in which it was observed that article 16 does not bar a reasonable classification. Okay, just remember this, okay, article 16 clause 1, article 16 clause 1 does not bar a reasonable classification of employees or a reasonable test for their selection. So, in fact, since this article supports such a reasonable qualification, I mean classification, or a reasonable test, they can provide for a higher education qualification. Okay. So, I feel Article 16 again thorough revision for this issue.
16.1 is very important. Like
Huh.
never forget.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll revise this again. Next, only willful and deliberate only willful and deliberate disobedience to court's order amount to contempt. Yeah. Can you tell the article of contempt of court?
129.
Yes, yes, 129. Okay, so 129 is contempt of court. So just remember this: only willful and deliberate disobedience to court's order amounts to contempt. Okay, it should be willful and it is deliberate disobedience. So this amounts to contempt. It's what it's telling. So if you see here, the bench comprising so and so observe that before punishing a person for non-compliance of the decision of the court must not only be satisfied about the disobedience. Okay, not only disobedience of any judgment, of any judgment, degree, direction, writ or other process, but should also be satisfied that that disobedience is willful and intentional. So we know that he's disobeyed, no, he's not obeying, but it must be willful also and intentional. Okay, so this is the double kind of criteria we can use in any contempt question if it comes up. Okay, in mains contempt of court. So such a bench observe that a person does not commit contempt of court if during the pendency of certain proceeding he takes recourse to other judicial proceedings open to him. Okay, so just remember now this thing: a bench observe that a person does not commit contempt of court when, if during the pendency of proceedings he takes recourse to other judicial proceedings open to him. So if any other thing is open to him, if he takes that, it is not contempt of court. Okay, even though
Yeah.
the latter proceedings put the other party at loss. Okay, the court added that contempt proceedings are quasi-criminal. Okay, it's quasi-criminal in nature.
Yeah, there are two types of contempt of court. No? One is criminal and
Criminal,
other one
civil,
is civil.
right? So
That is right.
correct. Quasi-criminal in nature, and the standard of proof required in the is in the same manner as in other criminal cases. Yeah, obviously it has to be treated in the same manner. Okay, so again, try to revise the contempt thing article. Court of contempt, because of that Prashant Bhushan thing, it is again in news now. So
Uh-huh.
we must revise it thoroughly. Contempt of court, all those things. I think Vision has covered it thoroughly. That we can revise here. So next, oh, it's already 5:05. Should we continue? Wait, let me see how much.
How many cases are left?
Oh my god. I think a bit more are there. Maybe some three, four more. We'll continue tomorrow. Okay. What do you say?
Okay. As I am free, if you can do it in 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay. Let me see. Okay. Five
Okay, I
ten.
will,
We'll,
okay,
we'll,
we'll do
we'll do
it
it till
tomorrow.
5:10. Okay. 5:10. Okay. So a few more we can take up. Okay. A rape victim also suffers discrimination from society. Okay. SC issues directives to Jharkhand administration in a rape victim's plea. I think this no. Oh, just a minute. Uh, Again, see, rape victim also suffers discrimination from society. Okay, see, since we are living in a patriarchal society, no, it's obvious that even a victim is discriminated. Okay, since SC has issued directives. Okay, so what is this? A rape victim suffers not only from mental trauma, yeah, but also discrimination. So this is kind of double whammy. Okay, discrimination from society. SC said while disposing a writ petition filed by rape victim belonging to a ST. Okay, taking note of the fact that identity of a rape victim in this case was disclosed. Okay, so somehow disclosed, which they should not do actually by media, resulting in troublesome life for her. The bench comprising judges issued directives to the state government. Okay, I think we must revise the all these issues again from society point of view. Okay, violence against women. Vision has covered it. Okay, violence, and it's also a question. I think last year mains question was there. Oh, what are the violence faced by women in society? I think some question was there. Okay, at all levels. So we can revise. Next, we can also quote this because in line of argument we can quote this. She also suffers a mental trauma and also discrimination from society. Okay, good line of thought. Next, we move on. SC dismisses review petitions challenging other verdict. Okay. Oh yeah, so that other verdict, that money bill thing, no, it was pending. So it has dismissed the review petitions. So if you see, the Supreme Court 4:1 dismissed the review petitions challenging the other case, the Putra Swami thing. Okay, Putra Swami judgment. Uh,
Privacy wala judgment.
huh,
Okay.
correct. The while justices so and so. Okay, if you see, the review petitions were not heard in open court, but by circulation. According to majority, a change in law or subsequent decision judgment of a larger bench by itself cannot be regarded as ground for review. Okay, okay, fine. I think they've disagreed to no review it. That's all. Okay, the matter ends of that thing. Okay, next is section 12 clause 5 of our again. See, this act is again it is in news. Okay, so I'm definitely sure that something will come up the question. So section 12(5) of Arbitration and Conciliation Act, which deals with ineligibility of appointment as arbitrator, is a mandatory and a non-derogable provision. Okay, so just immediately, today try to revise this act again. Section 12 is telling that a bench comprising so and so. Section 12, clause 5 of the Arbitration and Conciliation Act, read with the seventh schedule, okay, which deals with ineligibility of a person to be appointed. So this provision, it tells that there's ineligibility of a person to be appointed as an arbitrator is a mandatory and a non-derogable provision. Okay, there's some ineligibility condition given there. Okay, so that is mandatory. That's what it's trying to tell. Because I think arbitrator should be fair and all those things. So that's why maybe that is mandatory. It is trying to not uphold that section. See, this section is giving section 12, clause 5 of the Arbitration Act, as amended in the recent 2015, provides that notwithstanding any prior agreement to the contrary, any person whose relationship with parties or counsel falls within any of the categories specified in the seventh schedule shall be ineligible to be appointed as an arbitrator. So there is some ineligibility condition, okay? Who can be appointed as an arbitrator and who cannot be. I think this we must be clear, like who can be appointed as an arbitrator, who cannot be. I think this is given in this section. Maybe we can revise the visions thing again, like who can be appointed as an arbitrator. So here they're trying to tell that any person whose relationship with parties or counsel falls within any of the categories specified in the seventh schedule, then he is ineligible. Okay, item 5 of this seventh schedule reads that arbitrator's relationship with the parties or the counsel. I would consider the arbitrator is a manager, director, or part of the management, or has similar controlling influence in affiliate of one or the other parties if the affiliate is directly involved in the matter of dispute. So, I mean, he is not ineligible because he's directly involved. So, if he,
In, in short, the arbitrator should not have any influence on any of the parties.
right,
He
right,
should.
right. Definitely. If he comes in, there'll be clear case of conflict of interest. So, such an arbitrator is ineligible. Okay. So, just again try to revise this act once again. We'll move on. If you see deprivation of property right, okay, right to property comes up again. Right to property right can only be in accordance with procedure established by law. Yes, that's what is a legal right. Okay, right to property is now a legal right in India. So deprivation of any property can only be done in accordance with the law, procedure established by law. Okay, so this we must remember. Nothing much here. If you see here, deprivation of private property can only be in accordance with the law, correct? Bench so and so while considering the case involving proceedings under MP Land Ceiling Act. Okay, this was the case going on, and then they've upheld this. Specifically, if you see in section this of this act, the competent authority finds that any question has arisen regarding the title of a particular holder which has not been, I think, not required. Okay, not much no is needed here. Just we can remember that right to property can only be in accordance with the law. It's a legal right. Okay, it's not a fundamental right, it's a legal right. They can only deprive the right to property in accordance with law. Okay, I think much here. So right, if you remember, right to property, I also told the old judgment that right to property is now a constitutional right, and also a human right. Okay, right to property, constitutional
Okay.
right, human right. This was told by Supreme Court, and they can deprive it only in accordance with the procedure established by law. So these three angles we must know about right to property. So we'll move on. I think we'll stop here. Okay, it's already
Let's stop.
five 12. Okay,
We'll do tomorrow.
exactly. So we'll end here. Okay, fine. Bye. Thank you.